Hello, everybody. So, welcome to Musicians List Art's first podcast. We are your first two interviewers on the interviewer list. My name's Gavin Ray. I'm a junior at Tarpon Springs High School. I'm going into my senior year. I am a mellophone player at the Boston Crusaders, and I'm going into my fourth year on mellophone with Tarpon Springs and fourth year on horn. Going into my third year as a vocalist in Tarpon Springs. I'm a tenor. So, I'm going to hand it off to my partner Mitchell here to introduce himself.
All right, so hey, what's up? I'm Mitchell. I'm a graduating senior. I marched with Carmel High School from 2016 to 2019. I've been in jazz band, I've been in orchestra, I've been in concert band on horn. I've marched mellophone. I've played horn in high school for 4 years, and I played for 3 years prior to that in middle school. I'm hoping to do drum corps next year. Most likely my ideal corps would be the Cadets Drum Bugle Corps. And I'm looking, but if anyone else wants to offer me a spot, I'm more than happy to accept that. I'm looking forward to just giving this a good show.
Okay, so our CEO picked us because we're younger speakers. We have experience with some of these groups, and we're judging today Broken Arrow 2018 and Hebron 2019. So I'm going to be the music judge for Broken Arrow, and Mitchell will be the visual judge for Broken Arrow, and then we're going to switch for Hebron. I'll be the visual judge for Hebron, and he'll be the music judge for Hebron. So a couple things I was told to announce is I'm going to say this at the end as well. We have that virtual ensemble auditions. You just got to drop some information to the email, musicianslistarts@gmail.com. It's on the Instagram, and I can link that to the video or wherever this goes, wherever Allie posts it. So yeah, you know what? We're going to start. So we're going to start with Broken Arrow 2018, their show, The United States of America. It's obviously about the United States of America. So they're from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. A lot of people know this show, and Mitchell and I had the personal opportunity to perform against these guys in 2018 when I was performing Ready Player One with Tarpon Springs and he was performing Voyage to Valhalla with Carmel High School. So I'm gonna start off with a couple questions towards Mitchell. So Mitchell, I want to hear what no connection. Carmel and Tarpon don't exist in this universe. What do you want to hear from them music? What do you want to see from them visual-wise? What do you want to see with their overall professionalism on the field?
Well, obviously, knowing that Broken Arrow, the outstanding band program that they have, I'm looking, and based on their show theme and title, I'm looking obviously to hear some patriotic tunes. However, I think that they've arranged that in a very not cheesy way. I think that hopefully I want to hear them really bring out the emotional appeal of these songs that they play. Visual wise, I want to see everything looking obviously as you would. You want to see it all clean. However, I really want to see the interesting form. I want to see some interesting forms in what they decide to do with their program. And them being the pride of Broken Arrow, I just want to see how they hold themselves in that professional manner that we've all known and heard about.
I completely agree with a lot of that. Like, when we're performing against them, we don't ever really take the time to watch their show and go into depth. So we're sort of blessed to get to do this. So I'm very happy we get this opportunity. And I mean, let's go into the next question. The theme. How do you feel about the theme? It's all very patriotic. Do you like the theme? Do you have stuff against it? How do you feel about it?
Well, personally, I think it's a really cool theme. I think the presentation overall, I think it's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this again and really diving into what they do both musically and visually.
Okay, so now this is the controversial question.
Oh boy, yeah.
How do you think they scored? Do you think it was a correct placement on Bands of America's behalf, or do you think it could have been made a better decision, or do you just think the performance was not as good as it could have been? Tell me your input.
Well, going into this whole thing, just for me personally, we were all like, okay, all right, Broken Arrow and Tarpon are bringing heat, and this is going to be great. I mean, we watched their performance at St. Louis. That was outstanding. Personally, I'm not going to name any groups here, but I think that there was a little bit of disagreement in my personal thoughts and the thoughts of the judging panel in terms of placement. I think they should have done a little better than they ended up doing. Their performance was just outstanding. I mean, even when I look back at this, even over a year now, it's just I really couldn't find anything terribly off with it that bumped it down.
I completely agree. Like I've watched this show many times, just like listening to the tunes and like enjoying it because they're a very good organization, just like the
very
both of us.
Appealing to the crowd.
Huh?
It's very crowd appealing.
Yeah, like it's about America. We live in America. It's very patriotic. It's bringing like bands of America together. It was a very great show to see, and it's like a very interesting concept they had. Just let's pull an American flag out. Let's do that, and it was really cool.
That was awesome.
And just overall, like I think they performed amazing, and like even afterward, like they held themselves professionally, but they talked to us. They were very nice. They talked to all of us.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, like I got the opportunity to perform against them this year with their show Yeehaw." And
Yeehaw!
It was an amazing show. Like they always put so much energy into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's a fun one. That we'll do that one later. We'll do that one at some point.
Hopefully the CEO gives us that one soon because I love that show. So I'm gonna hand it off to you if you got any questions for me, and then we can discuss.
Given that you're in the Boston Horn Line, I'm gonna ask you specifically, what do you want to hear from the brass and just the overall ensemble? Just the overall ensemble in general. What are you looking to hear from them?
Well, brass-wise, I'll start with the brass. I always want to hear just like the overtones. When you're in a good brass line and you're in that warm-up arc and you're in tune together, like you hear the whole ensemble in tune, the brass line, you just hear it. There's usually those overtones, the octave pitches, and
Right.
I would love to just listen a little closer to Broken Arrow and just see if I can reach those overtones, if I can hear them in my ear frequency, if I can hear them, amazing. And like the drum line, I just want because Boston Crusaders has a decent drum line, not the best, but we got a decent drum line, and I always want to just hear like the beat. I want to hear the brass going to the beat. If it's like depending on how their director does it at Broken Arrow, it's either listen to the back or watch. That's how we do it. Yep. So I just want to hear the ensemble blending together in time with the drum majors and the drum line, or any of their other listening components they were given.
Mm-hmm. How do you want to see these drum majors? How do you want them to look?
Well, personally, I've never been a drum major, but I've gone to that drum major academy camp in California, and I was taught a lot of information there. And I talk about with some people, I apply this to other leadership concepts as well. It's like when you're a drum major and you're a 7, your band's probably going to be like a 5. So you got to reach that 13, so your band's an 11 out of 10. So I just want to see this overall energy output from these drum majors, inspiring their members on that field to just keep pushing. Yes, some of the show is hard. Just keep pushing. Not everyone has God endurance.
No.
I don't have God endurance. I don't my cardiorespiratory system, not the best.
Yes, sir.
But it's having your drum majors in front of you, they're supposed to push you, push enthusiasm into you, so you just perform, and you perform amazing, and you enjoy it. I can say for Revolution Remix this year, I just loved just seeing everyone on the field, with our moving, with our free form going crazy. It was fun. It was a great experience. I always want that in a group, and the drum majors are one of the main outputs of that.
Right. That makes complete sense. How do you feel about the uniform? Before I say that, I know that Broken Arrow, for every competition I compete with them in, they've had a different costume each year. In 2017, 2018. However, I also have seen their traditional uniforms. How do you feel like it matches up to the traditional?
Well, personally, I like groups that change their uniforms every year. Like, it themes the show. Like, I wish Tarpon did that more. I wish a lot of groups did that more. It could make the show so much better, in my opinion. But obviously, there's funding. There's a lot of issues with that. But when I looked at Broken Arrow's uniforms, I was like, holy cow. That so fits the show. Like, the skirts, it makes sense. Like, just the American star on the front of their uniform just shows pride. And the pride of Broken Arrow, like, it just shows it. And I love the enthusiasm they gave with those uniforms and, like, how much choreography they used the uniforms for. And they did the same thing this year with Yeehaw. It matched the show perfectly. Like, the most we do is Shako tops or skirts.
We do absolutely nothing.
Well, so I think we'll conclude our questions there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to split off into separate calls. And we're going to watch our own videos of Broken Arrow and finals and Bands of America Grand Championships. And we're going to record our own judge tapes. So, again, I'm doing music for Broken Arrow, and Mitchell is doing the visual. So we will be right back with some more comments about Broken Arrow.
Awesome.
Hello, everybody. So this is Gavin Ray. This is my judge tape for music for Broken Arrow for Musicians Lists podcast. So, the categories I have here are brass performance, woodwind performance, percussion performance, ensemble performance, and musicianship. They're all out of 200. I'm going to be circling the plus signs for the positives and the negatives. I'm obviously going to be writing comments based on how I see, like, the performance. It's obviously just my opinion. So, and I'm not a professional judge. So, let's do this. So, Broken Arrow, Finals 2018. Love the opening, though, how they all start on the sideline. It's very entertaining and very inspirational. Brass are in tune right now. I hear like that low brass sound. The low brass sounds very full. It sounds great. Especially since they're facing side, like they're facing the sideline. Or not the sideline, they're facing the end zone, I should say. I was looking at it from marching band field terms. But yes, they're facing the end zone and you can hear them. Very nice presence. Their form is good too. I love, like, the lines are consistently straight and hitting the yard lines all together. Oh, there's one line there, a little iffy at the top, but it's a big ensemble, so, and they sound great. Nice change. Their intonation was great, and the balance between all the parts were great as well.
Joining us from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, please welcome the Broken Arrow High School Marching Band.
Nice use of the skirts. I've always loved that. The choreography with the skirts.
Broken Arrow's program is entitled The United States of America.
Yeah, it is.
Bands of America is proud to present in grand national finals performance, drum majors Matty Hulliman, Peyton Lee, Alexis Lovelace, Camden Minor, and Fernanda Sanchez, and the pride of Broken Arrow.
Okay, I'm just going to pause that there. Okay, so that entrance, I heard just the percussion crescendo to that entrance, and it was a great impact. Like, that impact, very great starting impact. Like, I know when we think about groups, we always have to think about how they sound and the intonation as an ensemble. But that starting note was in tune, and it sounded amazing with the crescendo. It matched the crescendo, and the musicianship was very, like, well done. So I'm pause it now. form's changing. That was such a great opener. I've always loved listening to that opener. Just the double tonguing, da 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 da. It sounds so clean, and the trumpets are in the front. I'm pretty sure. I can't see, like I'm at an open field screen. I think the trumpets are in the front. Some trumpets in the front may be playing a little too loud because it's breaking the mic frequency, but that's also just how I'm hearing it. It could be the video, but I'm not sure. But they sounded great. The overall blend of like the mellophones, baritones, trombones, tubas, and like trumpets, all of it just fit together. And the woodwind sound, it's sort of back there, but woodwinds are sort of an accompaniment to a strong opener like that. And the percussion, the drum line in the back, all their stick heights the same, looked great. And they sounded great, and I could hear that they were all in time together with those drum majors, so that was solid. Those soloists, great job. Nice staccatos. I feel like we could use more mellophone there. A little bit more mellophone there. Nice movement. Blue. Great job again. Oh. Hold on. Something happened there. But, okay, so I'll just pause here to say something. So, that the form on the left, like the two blocks, I'm pretty sure our CEO is going to put the two blocks there. They're great. The lines are shaped correctly. The spacing looks great from this angle. And then the blue spells blue. I can read it, so it's done correctly. Great group. Oh, nice woodwind. Nice woodwind part. Their tonguing is consistent. Those pocket forms look great too. Oh, to a giant block. I never noticed that when I watched it. That was cool. Oh, backfield. Nice change. Woodwind parts are great. They're in tune. I can hear their expression. Horns are down. Woodwind's got horns. Oh, great form. Statue of Liberty, I heard an overtone. I can hear those overtones. Those trumpet ones, I could hear that overtone above them. Great job. Here comes the color guard, Statue of Liberty. 76 trombones. Nice job, trombones. You guys are consistently in tune together there. That was great. Especially when I played in that stadium. My group had an issue with tuning. Oh. Nice job, saxes. It's a conversation. Conversation's great. Conversations like Rin bands. There's so much energy, it sounds great. It's a cluster form right now, but they're all into it. It means they care about the show, they wanted to perform it amazingly, and they did. Now the blue skirts all go into a set.
In memory of.
I can't tell the form. Front ensemble sounds beautiful.
Army Corporal Francisco M. Valencia. Marine Corps Private First Class William Amar Jr.
Nice job, Ovo. I hear the brass, but I hear splits in the sound. Don't split the sound. It's also because you've been performing such a high-intensity show for so long. I just heard like a tiny split or two in there, but you gotta keep that sound consistent so it's underneath the soloist with that backup.
Air Force Major James Jefferson. Navy Commander Ronald Dr.
Nice marching and backwards and forwards into that form brass. Nice turn. That turn just set the whole mood for that section. Well done. I've always loved Broken Arrow as an organization. They're such a great group, and I always love getting the opportunity to perform against them. Nice sequential. That oboe and flute player are amazing. Taps. Front ensemble might have been a little too loud there. Now it's fine. Brass to the line in the front. Going star set. Oh, nice. Such a beautiful blend, guys. want to pause after that ballad. That was such a beautiful ballad. The ballad, just everything they did in that ballad worked. The taps, they all lifted up their skirts. It was all very formal, done beautifully. The soloists were picked very nicely. They obviously knew what they were doing. They gave so much musical expression, and the whole ensemble just has a great blend of dynamics, and the musicianship as a whole is great. They make some beautiful beautiful louds and beautiful softs. I was trying to say softs the first time, but we'll skip that. So, just beautiful louds and beautiful softs. The energy they do is so well placed through that whole section. They give energy, but it's a ballad. It's not like drum corps, loud, opener, trumpet screamer. It's not like that. The energy was so well placed to where it made the ballad warm your heart. It just surrounded you with a warm hug and saying, like, this is America. This is what we love. We love this country. This is for that. Don't bounce when you jazz run, guys. You don't bounce. You gotta keep that head and body still. This is when the flag comes out. Technically, that was the ballad and the closer. I don't ever really see closers as ballads, but like, well done, guys. Well done. Waving the flag.
The Broken Arrow National Marching Band.
Yeah, that's them. Great job. It's always a joy to see that group because I've only performed against them twice in my career at Tarpon. In 2018 as a sophomore and as a junior this year in Orlando against their show Yeehaw. And they've always put such amazing things together that I love. Their show themes I always adore because I wish we could do something like that personally, but that's just how I like marching band. I'm in drum corps. I love themed shows. We do themed shows, like Ready Player One was such an amazing show to perform just because the energy we put into it. But I can tell, if I was in any other program personally, I would probably want to be in Broken Arrow. They just do everything so well, and their show themes are great, and they always have so much energy and love behind it. Like, when you're in an organization, you can't perform a show and just be like, yeah, we don't love this show, we don't want to make it great. But they made it great. And personally, like, I haven't finished the official, like, my official scores yet, but it's going to be a very high score, because that group is always amazing, and I love that group. That group always blows me away, and I know I'm rambling, and I know I'm not a judge. I'm not an official judge, nor is Mitchell. We're just asked to do this. We're asked to see what high schoolers or young college kids think about our competitors in any other band in this art, or show choirs or anything. Like, we're going to be asked to judge multiple things, and we're just asked to see our opinion on these groups and put all our ensembles behind us aside, like me at Tarpon and Carmel for Mitchell. They don't exist here. We're just talking about these groups and how amazing we all are all together. And anytime we get to break those ranks and see these people, don't take advantage of it. These people are amazing. They all produce art like us, and in every art, like at school, like the orchestra, always just say thanks for playing beautiful music. And dancers, color guard, percussionists, everything. Everything's music and art. Just don't take anything for granted. Just love these groups that you compete against. And yes, in a competition, wish them luck. Just, these groups are always amazing, and it's always great to hear these groups. Well, great job, Broken Arrow, and hope my comments as a rookie judge for an online platform suffice. So I'm gonna send it back off to our Mitchell's video, and then we're gonna go back up to the actual call. We're gonna move on to Hebron.
Hey guys, it's Mitchell Urban. I'm the visual judge for Broken Arrow 2018 for this episode of Musicians List Arts podcast. So I'm looking forward to giving this a spin and really dive deep into what they do visually in this outstanding program, the United States of America. All right, and without further ado. So, obviously the uniforms are very patriotically themed. I really enjoy how they did that and how they have different. And as they're lining up, I'm excited to see how they hold themselves during this pre-show they're about to do. So, I know I'm not the music judge, but I will say I love the Star Trevor. I like the little thing that they do with that. I think it really plays to the theme. And obviously, it's a pretty self-explanatory theme. Let's see. Their pre-show, their blocks, their files are very, very clean. They're all in time and in line, so that's a good start to the show. And I'm not gonna give credit or take credit from anything in the pre-show. I will wait till the Empire announces. I will wait till what he says, and he gives them the cue to start. So I really
Joining
think what
us
they
from
do with
Broken
the
Arrow,
skirts is really
Oklahoma, please
awesome.
welcome the Broken Arrow High School Marching Band.
Thank you, Dan.
Broken Arrow's program is entitled The United States of America.
Awesome.
Band of America is proud to present in grand national finals performance.
I'm interested to see what they do with
Matty
these
Holman,
boxes and
Peyton Lee,
what exactly
Alexis
happens.
Lovelace, Camden Minor, and Fernanda Sanchez, and the pride of Broken Arrow.
Very musically strong opening. I like what the color guard's doing. I like what they have. I like the form that they have in the beginning. The star, and it moves, and now it's shifting to something else. So it's very, very tight, very solid form. I like how they lead with their skirt in their on their uniform. So I can see in their circular form they have on the left side of the field. I see that there's a little bit of spacing issues, but it's nothing too major. But I gotta say it's a little bit. It's all good though. They flatten it out. They straighten it out. I like what they do with the skirts and the flag line. The flag line is very, very solid. I like how they have it separated from brass and woodwind. I like how they have the brass hitting and leading into the circle into somewhat of a flag, and I like the body movement there that they shift the form. There we go. There's the red. I really like what they do with their. Forms and how they fix this and continue making these red, white, and blue very, very patriotic. And they maintain it pretty. They maintain the words pretty solidly, so that's a very big plus. Wow. And stars, they have their members form stars, and their stars are moving out and slowly dissipating, but they held that together really well too. I really haven't seen much to comment about in a negative way on their style and their visual and their marching per se. They all, I can look at the feet and I can see that they're using the proper technique, and they're just hanging in there. So I see that their flag line is surrounding their breast now, and I think that's really visually appealing. The glory, the O is a little bit tightened in, but you know, that's okay. That's all good. I can see they're all in time with the drum majors. They're all very big. And truth, there you go. I like that. That's a very solid form. They, for sure, to start, they've already shown that they can handle these forms that are very, very technical to hit. I really like how they have hit almost everything with almost near perfect accuracy. A very interesting little body sequence there. All right, I like the end of that form. I like how they move into somewhat like a Statue of Liberty crown kind of form. Okay, I like how they lead to that Statue of Liberty kind of feel with the guard girl holding up the flame and the torch. So now these cubes come out. And 76 trombones start. Wow, I like their little plastic trombones there for the guard. That's kind of cool too. Let's see. Very interesting. Again, use of the cape. That's a very cool little dance choreography sequence. And there you go. Then we get to move into the jazz feel of 76 trombones. And Wiggle Boy. There's the plastic trombones. Very interesting. I really like what they do with these skirts, and I will again say it again multiple times through this podcast. But I really like how they fit with the uniform, and they're a really creative idea. I gotta give credit for the trumpet player. There you go. It just looks like they're having so much fun in this. They're just grooving out, and I'm really a big fan of it. I don't really have anything to say much about that freestyle. Awesome. That was great.
In memory of.
So now, obviously, we switch to the ballad. Start to get more of a lyrical feel, but more solemn. And use of these, honoring our veterans, honoring these veterans here that they've named on their track. And you know, we see a little bit of fumbling with equipment from the guard, but that's okay. They recovered. They recovered really well. I'm a fan of what they did with this ballad, and with the props, it makes sense. They're more of a solemn tone, and these almost like these gravestone heads. It's like they very, very, very fitting of the theme. flag line is doing very well. Same with the saber line. I'm very impressed by the saber line. I'm not exactly sure. I have a feeling it was supposed to be out of time, so I'm just gonna leave it at that on the brass players. I see a little bit of out of step in the woodwinds, but nothing too major. Wow. Huh. And I like how the flag does that sequential move to the end of the sustain. And then there's the capes again. It's a very central part of their show and their visual package, and I'm really a fan of it. And there you go. Great. Good job on making that cross. That's an awesome form right there. And I can see just from when the members' feet and legs are showing, I can see correct posture. I can see great timing, great leg shape, and great placement of the feet. Excellent foot timing in the woodwinds, marching right straight across the field in the lines and flanks. And they're very, very, very in time with their drum majors, and that's great. Excellent ending form. Big form with the flag bearer and rifle bearer in the middle. Wow. Color guard is just throwing it, and I love it. Let's see. I'm a very big fan of how their big form at the end is exactly on their uniform. United. There we go. That's. I think that was really what the true meaning of the show was, that we as a country need to stand united in times like these, especially right now, given this whole pandemic. Awesome. Way to get into these little forms here, these little pods. I think that obviously you're not always going to hit your dot perfectly smack dab in the middle, but they're doing a very good job of getting perfectly on or very near to the form. And the foot timing when they were heading backfield, that was I really didn't have much to critique. There we go. And the flag comes out. That's what did it for me with this show. This is just an outstanding little piece of equipment and a very nice prop to use, and it's completely fitting with the national anthem lines singing, and the color guard just appears, and then the flag starts waving. Wow. Brilliant. I had a very, very enjoyable, it was a very enjoyable show to watch. It was very appealing from front to back. Visually, I really didn't have much of an issue. I wasn't complaining. Leg shape, there were a couple times where I could spot a couple individuals with their a little bit out of time, a little bit of a different leg shape than the others. But I think overall, it was a very, very, very solid show, and I was very, very happy to have shared the field with that show, and as well as watched it time and time again, because this is just outstanding. Well, I personally, I would give this a, let's see. I would give the drill a 95, because there was a couple little, out of 100, based on the little bits and pieces of little inconsistencies in form. Visual reinforcement of the music. I think it was a very, just the integration of the entire show. I think that this was very well thought out. I'll give that an 100. So I think that I really didn't have too much of a qualm with that, and I love the use of the percussion in their show. So ensemble marching, I'm going to give that a 395 out of 400. I know the scoring sheet's weird, but I'm just going to roll with it because I really didn't have much of an issue with their show and their ensemble. I think they had a very, very, very good idea of hitting their ranks, their files, their diagonals, their arcs. Their intervals were a little bit off at times. They arrived in time to their set. And individuals, I'm going to give that a 390 because of the fact that I saw little inconsistencies just in general. Just a few inconsistencies, like I said, with leg shape, posture. But other than that, it was an outstanding show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pride comes up with for next year and years in the future. Awesome. Thank you for listening to this judge's tape, and I'm looking forward to doing another show. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, so we're both back in the call. We both did our judge tapes, and I'm going to start with the music comment sheet. I did music, so I'm going to start with the brass performance. So I'm a brass player. Mitchell's a brass player. We love brass. We love drum corps. So I gave you guys a plus on everything. I didn't hear anything that could have been awful, because nothing was awful. It was an amazing performance. The brass was played beautifully, and I did hear those overtones. That's one of my comments. I heard the overtones. Those overtones were great. I could hear it. I heard the trumpets. I'm like, oh, get that upper octave. Sounds like you have like 4 piccolo trumpets playing. But I just want to say a couple things. So my good comments, they're all good comments, basically. They're all. I only have one little picky thing I picked out, but from the very beginning, that very start, like the opener, that first start, not the marching out, that first impact, very great entrance. The percussion crescendoed for you guys, and you brought it home. You hit that baseball out of the stadium, even though it's a football field, and it's gone. Then I said, the only thing I picked apart really was some intonation and blend issues. There was a part that there could have been more mellophone. Mellophone's an instrument that's usually forgotten. So, and him and I are both mellophone players, so we feel a little hurt here. But it was only a couple sustains that there could have been more of that tenor, that alto pitch going on. That mellophone alto pitch just crescendoing underneath everything and pushing it, just like the low brass, just to give that trumpets so there's not too much treble, if that makes sense. But one last thing I want to say for the brass, your tonguing is great. The tonguing, like, if you watch Revolution Remix, we have tonguing, but it's not as clean as other ensembles have, and that's just because our players, every program's different, but, like, your tonguing, you guys worked on it. I could hear that you guys worked on it. I could just hear da-da-da-da, like, I could hear, like, whatever syllable you use, I can hear it, and it's great. So I'm going to move on to woodwind performance now. Oh, wait, I gave you guys 192 out of 200 on the brass performance, just because some splitting sounds could have been a mic issue. I think I said that in the tape, but we're going to move on to woodwinds. First thing I want to say, the only thing I marked off was intonation, because woodwinds are hard to tune, especially with brass instruments and front ensemble. It's very hard to do, but you guys did an amazing job with it. Nice tone, and one thing I want to say, those soloists are great. Like, I can see Mitchell, he's shaking his head. Like, we were supposed to record our reactions, but we sort of can't, just because some issues happened. But, like, the soloists are great. The sax soli, like that sax ensemble up front, was just awesome. How it would just toss back and forth with the trombones.
Yes.
Like, I love that. Like, if my judge tape because Mitchell's probably going to listen to the podcast as well. He can hear me go, yes, as soon as 76 trombone starts going on. It's great. But, yeah, so I gave you guys an 195 out of that section. Very good job, woodwinds. Very good job, brass. So those are our wind sections done. We're going to go to percussion and front ensemble. So, very clean. I could hear it. It's all very clean. There's a little mic issues with the front, like the front ensemble being a little bit too loud at times. I think you might have been able to hear that, Mitchell. Just sometimes it just got a little too loud.
Stick out moment.
Just a little bit. Not like, okay, no, get out of here. But it's just like, hey, just back down like 0.2%, so it doesn't split the mic. But it's in time. It's giving the time consistently. You guys were in tempo. I watched the visual aspect of the drum line. You guys were good. I could see all the feet. It was great. And then, like, in the ballad and just the other quiet parts of the show, the front ensemble made it. Like, they made it such a calming aspect to it, and it just made the show. So, in that section, I gave you guys 198. And then I'm going to move on to my last two. It's ensemble performance and musicianship. I sort of see this as the same, sort of, because musicianship goes into how you perform as an ensemble. So I gave you plus on everything. I checked your suitability and demand of music because you guys put so much energy out there. It was great. The tempo, I feel like it might have fluctuated at one point. I don't know where it exactly was, but it just felt awkward at one point to me. But that could have just been because I don't know your show. I don't know your show. I never performed it. I performed this one, Ready Player One, that year. But overall, guys, beautiful expression. Your energy was always well placed. Like in the ballad, you made your softs and your louds speak the whole ballad. Your ballad was so great. Like, I paused the video and I was just talking about it for probably a solid 2 minutes in the judge tape. I was out, like, I've never got to just sit there, analyze your ballad. It was great. And Mitchell's smiling right now. I can see it. He's like, I agree. And then just
very emotional.
Like, it's, yeah, I almost shed a tear. Like, I can hear the taps. It was played so beautifully. It was just a respect for every American out there.
GE heavy.
GE heavy, yeah. And the one last thing I want to say is the conversations. You guys had conversations. Not many marching bands do conversations correctly. Like, you know, like, do-do-do-do-do. And then, like, you hear it in another part, say, like, Miss Lanka Symphony 4. We played that this year. You hear the conversations throughout the wind band. You performed it like a wind band, and it sounded great. It, like, sounded just as great as that mellophone call in Carmel 2018. Just gotta throw that shout-out out there, but...
I was about to say, we're talking about conversation. Call and response.
They do a great job at that, too. So, ensemble performance, gave it 200. Musicianship, 199. What I'm going to do is, my total score is 984. But again, I'm not a professional judge. Neither is he. This is just it's our rookie judge tapes.
Oh boy.
Just because we're being asked to judge. But I'm going to push it off to our Broken Arrow visual judge, Mitchell.
All right. So, I really didn't have many qualms with anything visually. I know a lot of people, trust me, I've seen the memes, technique hiding skirts. That's a funny one, but I think the skirts really did a really good job, and I think it really worked. So first off, let's go to individual marching. So carriage, stationary, moving. So I really didn't have any issues with it. I think there were a couple times where I could see on multicam that it was just, you know, there was ever so slightly, there was a couple different variations in the carriage posture and just the overall, just the stationary and moving. So instruments and equipment, obviously, I think, again, loops into that. So I gave you guys a plus on that. Carriage and posture, again, was really outstanding with just a few little inconsistencies. Uniformity of foot placement. You know, I really didn't, again, small, like ever so slightly, like every once in a while, I saw a few different shapes of the leg. It wasn't anything like major that I could clearly see from like up top of the box of Lucas Oil. If I were to be judging that, it's not like that would be an issue. You guys were all in time. you guys all had your either heads on the drum bench or listening back to the drum line wherever you were on the field, whenever you can listen to the drum line. We'll say that. Uniformity of body movement, very, very good. I didn't see anything really to write against. Execution of fundamentals. There was very good style, and again, I think it all just comes back to ever so slightly. There's like once in a while someone pops out, but then gets right back in, and then that recovery from error, that's fine. So for that, I gave a 390 out of 400 because again, tiny little things that just did not really have a really big effect, but I had to point that out. So let's go to ensemble marching. So ranks and files, great. Diagonals, great. Arcs, great. Arrival is set, great. Interval, stationary, and marching, very solid. Although I will say there was a couple times I know that the letters and numbers, and when you're trying to form, are very tough, because I know in 2015 Carmel showed 9 lines. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all at the same time with our members. I heard it was a very tough and painstaking process to get that to where it was at Grand National Finals. I saw there was a couple little inconsistencies with like lines and like maintaining the form. Same with when the stars move in the opener. There was a little bit of inconsistency, but overall, very, very, very well done. So I gave a 395 on that because just because of a few inconsistencies. I really like what you guys did with the words, though. I know there's a lot of memes out there with words, with the specific words out there, but I think it was a very well done idea and very, very crucial key part of the show. I know this isn't on there, but I have a lot of good things to say. I really paid attention as well because I paid attention to the flag line and saber line as well. I know that's not on the sheet, but I really enjoyed watching the flag line. It was it was drawn to my eyes, and I love the sequential stuff you guys did. I really like the sabers and the ballad. I noticed there was a drop, but they're a fumble, but it's okay. It happens, and you recovered. But without further ado, I'm going to move on to the drill. So, obviously, you got your America, you got your red, white, and blue, you got your glory, you got your united, you got your truth. And these are all very crucial parts of our country and very important words in our country. And I think that you guys did that brilliant. I think you included those, and you did a brilliant job of that. So the movement while playing, I know you don't park and bark a lot, is what the general term, the broad term for it, park and bark. And I didn't really feel that. I didn't really see that with your guys' show this year. I really think that you guys moved really well while playing. Very technical stuff, like especially in the open. That just playing with like Gavin said, the tonguing, that was impressive. And just lower body to accompany that. We have a saying over at Carmel that our top portion of our body is a musician, and our lower portion of the body is an athlete. And that you guys executed that, you fulfilled that statement to a T. So I gave it 95 out of 100. I saw a little, and obviously there was a little bit of inconsistencies, but it's okay. It's all good. It was nothing to just go on and on about bashing. So integration of marching components, I had nothing wrong with. It was brilliant. That's literally what I wrote on my project sheet. Brilliant. The visual reinforcement of the music, it was very good to say the least. Effective use of auxiliary on units, so that was awesome. The plastic trombones during the 76 trombones, that was fun. I want to get a plastic trombone. To be fair, we use that at pep band. A lot of trombone players, when we show up for pep band, we just play on P-bones.
Lucky.
So general appearance, uniforms were sick, drum majors fit the theme. Everything was just, I didn't have any issues. Sure, the skirts it up a little bit, but it was nothing. It was nothing bad. It was great. I was thoroughly impressed and just had a very good time watching this again, like I always do. So I gave it a 980 out of 1,000. So, but
that's a solid score though.
Yeah.
Like that would be.
What is it? 985 and 980.
I gave a 984.
Okay, so 1964 out of 2000. So that's somewhere around. Break. 98.1 or something, 98.2.
That's okay. Well, we're rookie judges, man. That's a great score.
Yeah.
I personally, I loved watching it again and getting to just dive in depth to the shows. Like, I'm blessed that we got these positions to do this because it's gonna be very cool. Because we'll say what's next week later, but it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
So I want to talk about something now. So one of our questions we've been told to ask is, how did the show look in sound? So we just did that, but I'm gonna just say my input on how it looked real quick, very short, and he'll do one on music. Like, there was at the beginning, there's some lines. It's very hard to do that. You're spanning the whole field. It's very hard to make those lines correct, but you did it so well that even when someone was out, they fixed it immediately. It was just like a millisecond. Well, where'd that go? I didn't see that now. Then, yeah, I agree with Mitchell that there was some parts in the drill, with the glory and the words. It's very hard to form words. Like, Ready Player One, our R and our one condensed on ourselves at one point in either prelims or semifinals.
Oh, jeez.
It condensed on itself, and it just wasn't as good as it could be. It's very hard to do because you're in energy. You're going and you have to form letters, and you're one person out of 50 maybe forming that letter.
Yeah.
But that's my input on the visual. The skirts, very well used. Just maybe sometimes you can't make 200 band members do those skirts the exact same. There's no way. I mean,
yeah,
you guys cleaned it up to as beautiful as it could be, and it was great.
Yeah, I had no issues with it.
What's your input on the music?
Well, I personally, being a mellophone and just a brass player in general, the opener was nothing but It was nothing but hype. It was. I love how these guys just came in just just perfectly. Just that's the perfect way to open a show.
It's not that tonguing, man.
You got me excited. Definitely, I will say in 2018, you guys definitely got me scared, to say the least.
I mean, I think they got all of us scared, man.
Oh boy.
I think everyone was scared.
But the ballad was for a while, I just really wasn't too much of a fan of the ballad, but really, especially today, looking at this and thinking more about it from a judge's perspective, I think it did its job beautifully.
I can agree more.
Then the closer is just the closer.
It's great. I could not have asked for a better ballad, in my opinion. It fits the show perfectly.
If you're going to do a show about America, that was it. That was it, Chief.
And then that sort of answered the next question. It was the theme portrayed in a way that was easily noticeable? Yeah.
Yes, it was in your face the entire show.
They brought an American flag onto the field.
Yeah, exactly. You brought a freaking American flag.
If you don't know that this show was about America as soon as they walk out onto the field with their uniforms...
And they start playing Stars and Stripes Forever in the pre-show.
No, it's Captain America. Well, it's still America.
Either way, I loved the guard using that.
The Captain America shields?
Yes, I saw it. My GameStop in Carmel. I saw the Captain America shield on the wall, so I took a picture of it and sent it to my friend who's in the guard.
So, I have another question. So, I picked it out, the overtones. You weren't really the music judge, but you have to have heard the higher frequencies. What did you think about those upper parts, the alto voices and soprano voices, the brass?
I think it was balanced really well. I know that's one thing that we really work on at Carmel, and obviously now, and from seeing this, I know that Broken Arrow does it the exact same. and Tarpon to say just to include everyone. I could really tell that it takes, in personal experience, I know it takes a lot of work, and you guys did that beautiful. It was just, I really couldn't really pick out any time that I really had a major discrepancy with the lines.
Well, I think that might end it for Broken Arrow. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to have Mitchell introduce our next group.
All right, so I'm going to tell a little story. 2015 happens. Boom. All right, so some random Texas band comes up, wins Class 4A. They with a great show, by the way. It was just absolutely outstanding.
Who knows when I judge it?
From Carrollton, Texas, the Hebron High School marching band. So they came to Nats in 2015. It was a great show, and it was just outstanding. I mean, everyone was good that year. It was crazy what they did, especially on their first time coming to Grand Nationals. That was outstanding. And the ballad, tenor sax solo, Noah Khan, yes. Then they came back this year. So they brought an outstanding show called Among the Stars. So I'm lucky to know, and I was lucky to meet the piccolo trumpet soloist in the opener with the insane double tonguing and triple tonguing line. So I asked him for a brief summary about the show. So their 2018 production endeavor was supposed to be a somewhat of a part two, not really, but along the lines,
like a prequel,
like a sequel.
A sequel, okay.
Kind of. It was. They wanted to bring an emotional show to the field. They wanted to embody the dreams and the goals that we had for the season into the show. I'm just going to read exactly what he sent me. The Impossible Dream was the song that the whole show is based upon. It was echoed in the pre-show and closer, which I will go into detail later. There was a narration in their pre-show, second grader in their school just narrating a Impossible Dream hybrid poem. The music, oh god. Music was just outstanding. Frank Picelli did a really good job. Impossible Dream, Triumph of Time, which is in the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Triumph of Time is such a good piece.
It is. And Million Dreams from the Greatest Showman, which I'll go into a little bit more depth than that because I have a lot of things to say about that. And Citadel Stars, they had their own drum break, and Journey to the Moon, I forgot. While 2018 focused a little bit more around one member, 2019 was a group effort with everyone acting the part. Let's see. There was a star ball. They called it Judy for some reason. I don't know the story behind that.
Judy.
That's what Eloy told me, so that's what it is. So they were all. It was the choreography was all centered around that, and the goal was to symbolize the collective dreams of the program and what they want to achieve in the future. So, this is just an outstanding. I was utterly blown away. I was shocked when, I wasn't shocked when they took music. I was shocked that they didn't come away with the Eagle. That was my shock because I was blown away by this show. I was just like, oh God, this is something else.
I could not agree more. I told you this story. I'm gonna tell everyone else this story too. It was very early season, and I was just scrolling through Instagram, maybe saw like a BOA moment, one of those accounts.
You saw the trumpet solo, didn't you?
No, I saw their their brass section with all that double tonguing.
Yes.
And I heard it, and I'm like, this early season? I'm glad I'm not going to Nats. Like, I said, I'm glad, because...
You leave us to have all the fun.
But they performed so great, and I really wish I did get to go to Nats to meet these people, because I want to shake the hands of these fellow musicians that work just as hard as any of our other groups do to produce something as great as they did.
Right. And that was... And I will say, I will throw out this little nugget of knowledge. Hebron still has the highest score in BOA history. Let me see if I can pull it up.
98.5.
That's
That's mean.
What?
It's mean.
I'm just saying it's a fact.
I know. I'm just saying, like, in 2014, Tarpon broke a record. I think it was the highest at Nats.
Oh, really?
It was. I think 2014 Man vs. Machine, when we won, was the highest at Nats. But
Oh,
then
wow.
I think you guys broke it last year. In 2018, I think you guys broke it by like point something.
No.
We'll go into that when we judge
We'll
other
discuss that
shows.
at some other point.
But like, just all these shows, like I love watching these shows. Putting all scores aside, all programs aside, every performer in Bands of America, they're all great.
Mad props to everyone.
Like, it's so hard to do marching band. My rookie year, madness. It was madness.
I could say the same with the Dodger Presto.
Your heart was going presto the whole time.
That was a mess.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask the same questions we did before. What do you want to see, music-wise and visual-wise, and professionalism? What do you want to see here?
I personally, because knowing that the 2015, seeing what the 2015 production was and seeing what they bring to San Antonio and everything every year, I just want to be blown away by music. I want to see what they exactly, I want to know, I want to just get totally floored. Visually, I kind of want to see them, I want to see, because there's a stigma out there that Texas groups do better musically and other groups, everyone else does better visually. I want to see them break that stigma.
I agree.
Because, I mean, we saw in the results earlier this year, a certain Texas group beat Indiana groups in visual. So, but that's fine. But I think it is. I think that's a statement that needs to be destroyed. I think that needs to be broken down.
Like, I agree with that. Like, we just need to destroy. Like, yes, we all compete against each other. Like, yes, it is a competition.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's a competition.
It's a competition. Don't get us wrong. And if anybody on the earth says like, oh, they don't feel a competition like stress, there's competition stress.
There is competition.
You
stress.
can respect all these people, but like when you're in uniform, you gotta say good luck. You gotta be nice to everybody, but you're competing still. Like,
yeah.
You can't let down just because they were nice to you, and they won't let down. You just gotta.
Oh no, you push. You throw it right back at them.
And in the end, it doesn't. Your score does not matter. Like,
right.
You could be first out of finals, and it does not matter. Like, you should not be upset about that. Like, yes, it's a little troublesome. Like, you worked very hard all season, but
and they come this close.
Yeah, you come that close. It's like you got to be quicker than that. But it always like makes me upset when I see people's hearts broken by stuff like that, because
my band director says something similar. He says at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of scores by a bunch of old men. A bunch of numbers by a bunch of old men.
That's like us. A bunch of numbers by a bunch of youngies. Like a
yes,
bunch
sir.
of rookies. rookie judgers. But what Mr. Ford says, he's our band director at Tarpon, he always says, it does not matter where you place. You can be third in the world, or you could be last place. He doesn't care. It matters that your last performance of this show, which is usually finals for like you and me, our last performance of that show, we want to get that encore run. But you want to make, even if you don't get that, you want to make that last show the best show ever and the most memorable show ever, because you won't ever get to perform with all those people again. That show will never exist like that again. Without those people, those staff, like that production is gone. Like, I miss Ready Player One so much, but our finals run, I would not have had it any other way.
Right. Personally for me, this year was...
Yeah, you were a senior. A little rough on that.
I marched my last rodeo.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Hey, well, how do you you know more about their theme than I do, and I just learned a lot about their theme, and how do you feel about, like, you've seen the show before, like, when you were in Indy, and you've heard about the show, and you probably watched it on the buses, like, watched it in between. How did you feel about their presentation of this theme of the show?
Oh, they did it perfectly. I don't think any other group could have done it the way they did. And to the amount of success that they did.
I mean, we talked about this last question already, and I completely agree with that. We talked about this last one already, though. how do we think they scored? Personally, think they should have taken it all.
Yes, sir.
That's both of our.
As much as I love my band, and much as it would have been great, but they deserved it.
Yeah, I love all of those groups. I love Carmel, Avon. I love everybody over there. All those groups that got to perform, they're all amazing groups. But I just think after watching it,
I think that stood out to me more than anything else.
Yeah, Hebron. I'm like, dang, they sounded amazing, and we're not going to talk about scores much, but personally, I think they should have taken it all that year, or tied. I don't know, just something like they should have been up there because they were up there. They were top 12 in the nation, so that's a good enough achievement. Even if you just are in Bands of America semifinals, that's a great achievement.
Especially this year.
Yeah, when all the Texas bands go up to Indy, yeah.
This year it's a slaughterfest.
Imagine if Wando, Broken Arrow, and Tarpon went. It would be chaotic.
That would be a mess.
So I'm gonna let you ask your questions now.
So, what do you want to hear from this band in general? Just and specifically brass line, but more just overall.
Well, I've watched this video not all the way through. I've watched it maybe 3/4 the way through before. I personally see that they could be a drum corps. They brass alone. They sound great. They sound like
right there.
a blended drum corps, and I'm like I said about Broken Arrow. I'm like, these groups, all of our top
there are
groups,
high school freshmen in these.
Yeah, there's high school freshmen. And in some organizations, they have 8th graders doing this, and they sound like they're in a drum corps.
Contract these kids up.
Yeah, come on. All these other corps that don't have these horn lines, get them on. Let's go. Because, when I've listened to, Blue Coat's horn line, or I've been in the Boston horn line, I just hear the overtones, and I hear the loud but clear tone. And this group
controlled.
has that. It's controlled, but it sounds great, and their presence is overwhelming.
Exactly.
And, overall, I want to just hear this. I want to hear the show all the way through. I want to hear the amazing blend together, and I want to hear this ensemble kick some butt. Same with those woodwinds. I want to hear those woodwinds, put me in DCI. But sorry, that's not a thing.
That's not a discussion.
That's not a discussion. They already put that away. I think they could have allowed woodwind soloists, but we're not going to go into that.
Yeah,
woodwind soloists are different. Okay, move on.
Nope. So how do you want these drum majors to look?
Well, just
let's see.
Just like the Broken Arrow drum majors and any drum major, I want them to have good energy, get that enthusiasm off. I didn't get to really look at their drum majors when we were watching it before, just when I was watching it with you before, just a long time ago and recently. I just saw, I could only barely see them, but I'm hoping I could get to see them more so I can be like, oh, they got some good styles. Their patterns are very consistent. Their downbeats and 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever signature they're in, each count is the same size and length. So it's a consistent, tempo, so the tempo doesn't fluctuate.
All right, so how do you feel about the uniform? Do you think it could be thin, or do you like the natural look?
So is this their natural look?
They have one for football games and home football games. They have another one. It's their old one.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor does the same thing. They have their own, and then they have their own show theme one. And they have their competition uniform.
Okay, so they can't see it, but the one I have on me. So is that their comp uniform?
Yes, that's their comp.
So they've used this every competition for years.
They got this in 2015, I think.
Okay, well, honestly, it sort of looks themed to their props that I've seen in their videos. It looks like it's themed to the show, but honestly, I love their natural uniform. I haven't seen their football uniform. I'd probably have to just do some research on that, but personally, that uniform.
It's black. It's
the opposite of that, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine by me. It looks cool. It's like the RP1 shirt, but
yeah, exactly.
So, what we're gonna do here is we're going to take a little break, and we're going to also go into our separate calls, and we're going to go judge Hebron. I am the visual judge for Hebron, and he's the music judge for Hebron.
Music.
So we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. I am Gavin. This is my visual judge tape for Hebron High School 2019. So they're setting the field right now, so I'm just going to say a couple things that we just talked about with Mitchell. So I've always loved like listening to these guys early season because they always are such at a high level during the early season, and I've always seen it every year. Like I've always just seen videos pop up and they're like brass lines. I'm like, okay, well they sound like a drum corps section. That's great for them. And their woodwinds are always just clean. Sounds great, and I can't wait for their performance. I gotta probably push the video a little bit just so it... Oh, I might have started a little too late. Hold on. I don't want to miss the flute solo. Okay. Setting the field still. So, I like their setup. Their props are very nice, and I believe Mitchell said the show is called Among the Stars. They have star props. Fits the show theme. Like that a lot. The block at the first beginning. Scatter box? Scatter plot? Not box. Or are they circling stuff?
Up above, so high.
I do see one group circling like a ladder. I mean, I can't really say anything visually yet, but I just paused that because I wanted to see what I'm looking at. So, looks like there's only one thing circling. Then the rest are like just scattered, and then like mini circles, I guess. Okay. Nice start though.
Like a diamond
Getting up.
in the sky. This
Beautiful
is
flute
our
solo.
quest that few would dare. A wish I place in your good care.
Those uniforms do like fit the
I'll
show. in my
always
opinion.
gaze up where they are.
Nice trumpet.
I'll always dream among the stars.
Joining us from Carrollton, Texas, please welcome the Hebron High School Marching Band.
Let's go, guys. I just standing up.
Hebron's program is entitled
I feel there could have been
Among
more,
the Stars. It features music
like,
by Frank Kelly,
with
Peter Grant,
movement there.
Mitch Lee, Benj Pasek,
Some
Justin
of them
Paul.
getting up, they're obviously all in different positions, but I think it could have been more uniformed. If it was a free-form section, I can understand that, but personally, I think it could have had more... What am I trying to say here? Yeah, just uniform, like, just uniform look, because they all, like... I saw some of them stumble up, and I guess I don't know what section I would put that in. I'll figure it out, but just... I want to see them have a more uniform look when getting up.
Robert Smith, Francisco Perez, Michael Martin, Chad Heine, and Colton Hines. Bands of America is proud to present
Ooh,
in
nice
Grand
carriage,
National
guys.
Finals performance.
Nice
Drum
carriage.
majors Abigail Rieger, Michelle
Oh,
Arriaga,
hold on.
Uzma Sheikh, Delaney Dyer.
This is just picky. It was zoomed in on like one of the circles or one of the groups, and it was like trombone players. Don't know if they were supposed to do that, but I saw people like, touching stuff, and you gotta find a better place to do that, in my opinion. Just a little bit, just because you gotta look professional, and the whole world seeing you. Millions of people could have been watching right then and there, and probably were. And
Molly Harrell
the form
and the
looks
Hebron
great.
Marching Band.
Their form is great right now. Love how the form looks, and nice beginning. Nice color guard movement. Okay, so I want to say something about like the drill already. So that drill, like there's a lot of people marching backwards, marching forwards, and slides, doing pivots. You all executed them very well. I can't really see any real form right now. I do see a very clean diagonal right here, though. And maybe the CEO can put, like, the thing I'm circling right now. But it's a very clean diagonal there. The drum line I can see behind the color guard here are in a line. Very clean line. And don't know if this is supposed to be a line of trumpets, but I don't think it is. They're still moving around, so let's continue. Sound like a drum corps, I'm telling you. look like a drum corps. Just like BA. Okay, so pause this video here. So I want to go back a little bit. So they all go down to carry. Nice carry, guys. Nice carry and horns up. Very snappy. Feet are in time, guys. Looks good. Nice mellophones! Heck yeah! Sounded like some drum corps mellows right there. That arc there at the mellophones could have been a little like more curvy. So I would just maybe just say, hey, make sure those arcs are more curved. And saw something there that picked out my eye. So mellophones, very hard instrument to do at carry, or not carry, trail. Very hard to do. Just flatten your bell to the ground. Your bell should be parallel to the ground. So just watch that, because it's very hard to do. If you don't feel awkward while doing it with a mellophone, you're sort of not doing it right. That's what I've always been told. So just make sure you do that. That's just a picky thing. I just noticed that out of the corner of my eye. Guys are tall though. Look tall. Guys are great. Okay, the spacing looks great, guys. Spacing is nice. Yeah, your spacing is great. Oh yeah! Blue Devils. Oh, mellows don't overplay. We're in the front there, boys. You got plenty of you. Man, you guys sound awesome. I think that was the soloist, so I'm not going to say anything about it, how he ran. Yeah. Doing it. Sign him up to a drum corps if he's already not. Sign him up. Oh. Nice tonguing, guys. I mean, I'm not a music judge. Nice tonguing, nice movement. Movement was great. Honestly, I wish I was the music judge for this show. Okay. That section sounded amazing. You guys look like a drum corps. I'm telling you, and I'm in drum corps. And just listening to this, you guys sound amazing and you look amazing. And I have a whole new respect for Hebron, because I don't get to watch their shows all the way through, and I'm going to start doing that more often, because they look great. Oh, yeah, their arc right here. Don't know what instrument that is, but some arcs and some spacings off in the arc there. Spacing off in arc. But everything else looks perfect. The tuba's spacing here, great. And yeah, the soloist on the prop. Nice job, guys. I love when clarinets go up to the box like that. Nice spacing. Everyone's feet are in time. Nice pivot. Great pivot. These lines are great. Oh, that's some cool drill. I need to find out who your drill rider is. Holy cow. Nice rotation. Star in the middle, great. Love the drill. Man, I'm saying so many things about this group. Oh, I saw that. Hold on. I see you. You're in the front. You pre-stepped. Man. He or she was probably just having such a great time. And was like, yeah, let's go. The adrenaline probably just got to him. You can't let the adrenaline get to you. I mean, I know personally, like my freshman year and RP1, I my adrenaline got to me, so at some point I played too loud. And like my movement was a little off because of how loud I was playing, so I got tense. So I've learned from that. But yeah, just remember, lock that mental head game in you, man. You're competing. But I've seen this guy already on the camera. He looks great. Just like that the uniform, he did it, he stopped. He didn't keep going. He put his foot down, but he like held himself there. Like it wasn't a mistake. Like he was supposed to do it. So he recovered. Great recovery. Cause I'll give him that. Recovery is what counts. If you make a mistake, just recover, man. You did it well. And now you look great when you're marching. Like I can still see you in the multicam, dude. You're sticking out. You're so tall. Oh, people are backwards marching to like random spots in the field. Horn. Great solos. I wish I was doing music, to be honest. Oh, nice movement, guys. Ooh, Barry. I don't ever get to really hear Barry solos. Nice job, color guard. You guys look great when you're dancing. Nice handstand. I can't even. A flip? Okay. She's showing off. Just saw this girl flip twice, do a handstand to it. She did it great, though. Nice job, Sabers. I love the guard costumes. And one of each sax and then 3 flutes. That's interesting. Sounds great though. Horns! Okay. Man, I want to do a horn feature. Oh, those drum majors, I gotta find him. Oh, he's into it. You guys are so into it, the energy is so great. Enthusiasm as an ensemble. I would say there might have been some intonation there, but I'm not music judge. Man, he got some air. What a great form. Everyone's legs are the same height with their knees. Looks great. Moving. What are the roles of the people people moving the props that are in the white and they don't have any blue on them, they're all in white. The same uniform, but it's white. guys are looking great while you're doing movement. Some stiff people, but not everyone can have that same flexibility and flow. Nice drum break. Tonguing just like Broken Arrow. Tonguing is great. Oh, mellows, I hear that. Backwards technique is great. Nice job, Mellows. You might have some help from the saxes though, but are so present. Oh, that was a good box rotation. Everyone's arms in this thing. It's awesome. Oh, they use piccolos. That's cool. Drumline, watch that spacing. Nice rotations in that circle. That circle is really well done. Great circle throw. Rotating star. Those diagonals look great. The top part of the star, the top part of that diagonal on the left, there's a little in. It collapsed on itself. Man, this soprano sax guy. Oh, let's fix now that star. What a great show. You're done? Yeah. What a nice way to close a show.
The Hebron High School Marching Band.
Man, I would honestly say another group I would love to be in if I wasn't in Tarpon Springs would be Hebron. What a great show, guys. You guys performed at... You probably would have... If any other group performed your show, I don't think they would have been able to do it as good as you guys did. You guys performed it to a level that was drum corps level, and drum corps with woodwinds. Like if drum corps international actually allowed for woodwinds to be in drum corps, you guys would be the example of that. You guys would be that example of a drum corps with woodwinds. That is one of the biggest compliments I could probably give, because I don't want woodwinds in drum corps personally, but if that ever happened, just put Hebron as a drum corps then, because you guys sounded great. A drum corps full of high schoolers. Obviously, there's some inconsistencies with the drill, with like some spacing and some diagonals, but not everything can be perfect. Not every performance can be perfect, and never in BOA or DCI history has anyone gotten 100%, because there's always inconsistencies, but man, you guys performed it amazing, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching you guys, and honestly, very happy I was selected to do this position just to hear how good you guys performed. Because, man, those mellophones. I'm a mellophone player. I'm a mellophone player, man. I respect that. I respect those mellows so much. Man, great props. Love the show idea. I didn't even realize that those props on the side at the beginning turned into those. Great props. I love that. Man, well, I'm going to end my tape here. Man, I can't keep saying man. Oh, what a great show. You guys gave me goosebumps at the end. Great performance. Like, you and Broken Arrow are such great groups. Man, I hope I get to judge another Hebron show. Maybe that 2015 show Mitchell keeps talking about. I would love to watch that and judge that. Well, I'm going to send it to Mitchell's tape for music, and we'll call it here for me. So, great job, Hebron.
Alright, hi everyone. So, This is for the Musicians List podcast. I'm Mitchell, and we are covering the 2019 Hebron High School Marching Band from Carrollton, Texas, and I'm going to be specifically looking at their musical aspect of their performance. So I'm looking forward to seeing and rewatching this show because it's honestly one of my favorite shows of all time, and just what they do with music is just crazy. And I'm going to try to give them try to really just describe and get a good sense of what they do for all of you guys. All right, so without further ado, Among the Stars. So first off, beautiful little pre-show, beautiful flute solo right there. I really like their how they play and just in general. I know I'm not the visual judge for this, but the pre-show, it fits the theme, Among the Stars. It looks like they're stargazing, so it really fits the theme.
I'll always dream among the stars.
Joining us from Carrollton, Texas, please welcome the Hebron High School Marching Band.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Hebron's program is entitled Among the Stars. It features music by Frank Kelly, Peter Graham, Mitch Lee, Benj Pacey.
I'm already looking forward to watching this again, even though I know exactly what's going to happen and when, but it just blows me away.
And Colton Hines. Bands of America is proud to present in grand national finals performance, drum majors Abigail Rieger, Michelle Arriaga, Uzma Sheikh, Delaney Dyer, and Molly Harrell, and the Hebron Marching Band.
Good percussion lead in. Oh, powerful. Nothing but just pure energy. I can hear the mellows doing their little runs, as well as just everything else is just balanced. Oh boy. Brilliant. Just crazy. My gosh. Brilliant run. Just way to go, Woodwinds. You're nailing these runs. And just the dissonant little 16th note, 32nd note interjections by the brass. Yes, mellows! There we go. That is amazing. Oh my god. I love that. You know, and this is very technical for the percussion even. This is really cool to see. Triumph of Time, there you go. Very Blue Devils vibes, but just outstanding, especially the mellow runs that they do, the interjections. Jeez. Wow. Awesome. And here we go with Eloy and his awesome, brilliant, just clean, nothing but cleanliness in this tonguing. This just disgusting. This is crazy. And then the whole trumpet section joins in. And then the mellows. Brilliant. Jeez. I would never be able to do this. And that's power right there. That's nothing but pure tonal power. Oh wow, so very, very technical. They're really making a statement here in their first little part of their show. I really think that this is outstanding. Brilliant woodwinds. Power. Yes, mellows. And then the overtones, and I can just hear the extremely just challenging pitches in the mellophone section. I know I'm being super biased towards the mellows and altos, but this is just, this is crazy. More on them later. That's outstanding. How they come in just right on that drum tap, and then they just give it 100. They don't even build up to it. They just gas it. Mellow sustain. And just a pure ensemble, just power. They really made a statement in that first piece. Wow. I could hear every instrument in that ensemble. Alright, so now the ballad. Oh boy. This is brilliantly just phrased, a horn and trumpet balanced. Beautiful Barry saxophone. I like how he just slowly just puts a little bit of kind of almost like a jazz feel on that little rundown. And I will say that this grew on me the entire season. At first, I was not sure of how I was going to like this whole section. I wasn't a huge fan, but I really just started to just absolutely love this. Jeez, this is crazy. Brilliant, just coming in, and then the runs. Oh my gosh. There we go. And now here's the most beautiful part of the show. And then the horns lead in. This is just crazy. And then the accompaniment, just, nothing but pure ensemble sound right there. This is crazy. Jeez. Wow. Oh gosh. Wow. There you go. All right, the sax run there. That's beautiful. And then the soprano, he marches soprano the entire show. This is so cool. My gosh. And then just at the end, just a pure, oh my gosh. I could hear overtones galore. I could hear third, I could hear the fifth. Brilliant. Nothing but warmth. Just, they do something just completely different that from any other group that just, it's crazy. All right. Very, very interesting little part from the percussion, from the front ensemble. All right. So a nice little drum feature. I love how they're featuring the percussion along with all the other musicians out there. They're just world class. These kids are crazy. And I wish I could even have a chance to even be close to any of them in terms of my playing skill and what I can do as a musician. Very clean. I know from talking from the band members themselves that this percussion feature took a long time to get to where it was. And I could just see on their facial expressions that they were just in the zone. They were just rocking. Brilliant. Little double tonguing, triple tonguing exercises there. clean. Nice run, mellophones. Okay, it's a little bit too much, but that is perfect. I know I'm not a visual, but I love how they do carry. I love how they slam their horn down on carry. Very difficult brass feature, low brass feature right there. And same with the trumpets in the background. You got the trumpet section balanced to playing accompaniment to the low brass at that point. Nice little percussion part. Alright, a little bit too much trumpet. Jeez. Wow. This is just outstanding. This is brilliant. My God. And very, very good way to close this. This is outstanding. A very little last remark saying, hey, we're still here. Don't you dare take your ears or eyes away from us. Yeah, they're not done yet. Nice little ending part, Mellows. There you go. And just the full sustain that they have on this note. My God. Well, all right. So, obviously, that was just, God, okay, that was crazy. Because I have never seen a group do what they just did to the amount and to the level that they just did. So, brass performance. I can't go wrong. I'm struggling to see anything that I could go against. Other than a couple times the trumpet kind of stuck out a little bit. Woodwinds, brilliant. Balance, blend, same with the brass. My gosh. You guys killed it out there, and I don't have any qualms with it. Yeah. I mean, there were probably there was probably once or twice that they really did that they had anything slightly noticeable that I could say anything negative or not as positive about. Percussion, excellent. Drum feature, crazy. That was very, very technical, very tough. And just overall on the show, you guys came in, you led the band in. I don't have any qualms. Ensemble, jeez, okay, all right. Beautiful. Nothing I've ever heard before, other than a Hebron group. I mean, 2015 was just outstanding, but I think you guys topped this. And I'm glad to have competed against it, and just in general, just the show in general, it was crazy. Musicianship, it's just perfect. I had no qualms with it whatsoever. All right, so I think this just as overall, this was just beautiful. This again, I don't think any other group could have pulled anything like this off, just anything close to it. This is just pure, just brass, pure woodwind, pure sonority, and I loved hearing it. I loved sharing the feel. I loved watching you guys when I came out, when you all were at Grand Park, and I got to sit there and watch the rehearsal and see how you guys did everything and what you guys did different from us, and it was just brilliant, especially watching your full run at the end before we all got to talk for a brief minute. That was great. That was just, I was in complete awe. Well, thank you for thank you for performing this, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to see what you guys can do, because you guys definitely proved to this Carmel kid that you guys have exactly what it takes and what you guys can do. So, on that note, I'm going to bid you guys farewell, and I will be back in the next podcast. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we just get back in the calls from Hebron 2019. So we're going to start with music. So, Mitchell, take it away.
All right. So, given that the nature of Hebron, just as a band, just beautiful. I watched the show again for I don't even know what 100th time. Brass, crazy, just beautiful. Trumpets, great. You like I personally, what really stood out to me was how the fact that your trumpets could balance down to the low brass, like in the end. You guys played and balanced to the low brass to get them to really just stand out. Mellophones keep ripping it. Oh my God.
I said that. I was like, I'm not music judge, but I wish I was.
Exactly. They blow me out of the water. And then the horns, just in general, just beautiful. Ballad, just outstanding. Balance blend, I have nothing wrong. Technique, nothing to say. Effective use, yes, to say the least. Woodwinds, same. I can't really dog on anything. They really did nothing wrong because it was so flawless. Percussion, and the percussion feature, the drumline feature in the closer, that was awesome.
Bro, I said the same thing.
I heard, because I have a couple friends in the band, that they said that took them forever. That took them forever to knock down. And I could even tell when I watched them rehearse that it took them a while. They were still refining it on Friday. On Friday, they were still working on it. Effective use, perfect. Ensemble performance, flawless.
Like, just amazing.
Fills. Musicianship, brilliant. I said something about that with the baritones, with the Barry sax soloist. I like the way he curved a couple of the notes in his Million Dreams solo. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm a sucker for jazz, and I just like how people curve their notes with that.
Yeah, he's definitely a good soloist. Like, you could just tell. Because he put that...
Any saxophone soloist, let's be real here. Any saxophone soloist from Hebron.
Like, they just know how to move and swing it, but they know how to put expression into a solo.
Right, exactly. And that's what makes...
That's music. That's music.
That was... I mean, competitively, that was scary as heck. And just as a spectator, jeez, crazy. And I went in more depth. I went in depth with this a lot more, but they showed this Carmel kid how to actually play music. I'm gonna be completely real.
Man, that's a shout out to Hebron.
Yeah,
big shout out.
You did it.
Well, if that's all
I give them, let's see, 200, 200, 200. I gave them 997 out of 1,000.
That's high. Great job, Hebron. Honestly, so is that all your music comments?
Yeah, I mean, the intonation and everything, just beautiful woodwind solos, musicianship. I really couldn't really say anything other than just flawless and outstanding because I didn't have anything to nag on.
That is, man. Well, again, I kept saying I wish I was music judge because I was. I kept saying music comments. I was pausing. I'm like, hold on, listen. This group is so outstanding. But
yeah.
So I'm gonna start with the individual marching. So everything about like how you carry your horns and you have it up at horn like
they have a certain swagger.
Like they just. everything looked uniform.
Yep.
And I said, this like, there's only one thing I picked apart. One of the two things I picked apart for individual marching was, when you're getting up at the beginning, I want to see more uniformity. It just sort of seems like some of them stumbled, if that makes sense. But like nice carry. You guys look tall. Like, your spacing is nice. Your spacing is just amazing. And there's one thing I picked apart. Some guy pre-stepped. Some guy pre-stepped, but he recovered, so I gave him the points back. He recovered. I gave him the point back. He recovered. Like, so your energy is so great, and you guys recover very well. And then the last thing I saw was mellophones. Very hard to do this. When you're at trail, your bell needs to be parallel to the ground. If your hand does not feel awkward, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that earlier.
Like, it's a hard thing to do for every instrument except trumpet.
Right.
But like, don't hate on me, trumpets. It can be hard. It can be hard in your own way. It's fine.
Yeah. Every instrument has their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, just overall individual marching, like, gave you a check mark on everything, basically. I would just say, like, I'm not gonna put any negatives, obviously. Like, you guys didn't mark time much, but you guys get a plus. You just didn't do it, so it's just there. I underlined recovery from error, because that was because the guy that moved, he took the step, but he stayed there. He didn't keep moving. He stayed there. Like, it looked like it was supposed to happen.
Right.
So it was a great recovery. And like, in step, I put check mark on that. Carriage, put a check mark on all of that. So I'll move on to ensemble marching now. The only thing I saw as an ensemble were those arcs. There were some arcs that had some issues, and one diagonal that I saw that had an issue, and it was in the star. Like, not the last star, but it was like the second to last big star. And there's like the top of the top diamond was falling in a little bit, but it was like 3 people. So that's very hard to do, to make a giant set with, I don't know, how many members do they have, do you know?
I don't know. I can text Eloy and see what he says.
Like,
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, crazy amount of members. But yeah, I took off just a lot of stuff about the arcs. The arcs, while you're marching, there was spacing issues with the arcs. There was just the arcs caved in or concaved out too much. It was just, just arcs. But
just minor things.
Yeah, minor things about the arcs, but you guys all had enthusiasm as an ensemble while marching. It was great. Your spacing and everything else was perfect. I did not see anything else spacing-wise. And you guys all look the same. Like I said, you guys have the same body shape. Like, everyone's body's different, but then you all look like you're the same person, and you're just marching. You're all very tall. Your feet are in time, and the spacing for the drum line was solid.
Yeah.
And now I'll move on to drill. So, just overall drill. Loved all the drill. The drill, like, loved the drill. The circle. You know that circle when they do, like, the rotation in the middle?
At the end?
Yeah, like, towards the end, I think. That's such a great drill move. Like, they executed it so well. Like, and I wrote for the drill, like, you sound and look like a DCI. And it sounds like you're not even moving. That's what it sounds like. Like, it sounds like you're just sitting there playing, but you guys are doing crazy things, and you guys sound amazing.
Right.
And the final thing we'll go to is integration of marching components. No issues. You guys look professional. You guys looked great. Like, the props, I loved everything about it. Looked amazing. In total, I gave you 982 for the whole performance. 95 drill, integration of marching components 100, individual marching 397, then ensemble marching 390. But again, these are just subtle things that I've noticed, and that'll finish it up for the drill, or the visual aspect of the show. And I did say a lot of good things about the guard. I love their costumes, the guard.
Yeah, the guard costumes worked.
And so now I want to see your opinion. How do you think the show looked?
Outstanding.
Just drop it down.
They move like, if I'm gonna use the stigma here, I'm gonna say they look like an Indiana group, but that's a wrong stigma that needs to be broken down. But they looked the part.
They look like
anyone. They
they look like everybody else.
they look like a drum corps.
They like they would be like a top Texas drum corps. Just
Yeah.
And like I mean, I don't know what else I can say about that. They just looked great.
They were outstanding.
And like for me, how they sounded awesome. Just and like you know what I mean. Just they sounded great. Just
Right.
sounded like a drum corps. We can't say it enough.
Yeah.
But so how was the theme? Was the theme noticeable?
Yes.
Very noticeable. Just like Broken Arrow, the stars were everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the audio at the beginning, the monologue, like set the
And
tone
then
of the
like
show.
little star thingies that like the props that
Yeah.
they had, or like the ladders. They reminded me of our World Guard ladders from last year. I forget what the show was called, but it had ladders like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
It was such a nice show. It reminded me a lot of 2017 Blue Devils.
Yeah.
Like the Triumph of Time, just
I mean, they
crazy.
put their own little spin on it with the little mellow runs.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, Mellows, dropping
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the top.
Go off, homies.
Okay, so I asked this for Broken Arrow, how the upper parts blended, but I want to see how the lower parts blended for this group. I mean, you weren't music, but I want to hear how you paid attention.
I think they've blended really well. I mean, I think as a whole, they really have the idea of sonority and just intonation down flat.
Yeah, they definitely like put a nice root to that sound.
Yes, I mean, I'm friends with one of their tubas, and that they were just hammering it. I mean, even at the last rehearsal that I saw, which was a total treat to see, they were still hammering away at the basics.
Well, I'm jealous.
It was great.
Well,
it was a good time.
So, before we end our little podcast, our first podcast, very long podcast, we want to talk about this one question we have. And I think Mitchell might know what I'm doing. I switched my background on our Zoom call here. So,
Okay, gotcha.
Mitchell, this was your question. Ask away. Ask the audience and me, and then we're gonna...
Sousaphone or Contra? I'm just gonna be straight up and say it. Sousaphone or Contra?
It has to be Contra. Like,
Yeah. Although I do get that they're more expensive.
Yeah, and sousaphone has plus sides and downsides. Contra also has plus sides and downsides. Contra is harder to march.
Yeah.
And I give props to any high school that does.
Right.
We were trying to fundraise for our own Contras my freshman year. We got $10. I'm not even kidding. Only $10.
That's unfortunate.
For 12 Contras.
Jeez.
That's not... We were far, 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 far away.
Yeah?
As far as Star Wars usually is. It's gone. But
good one.
I can see the positives to the sousaphones. Like, I guess the sound goes the same place.
Right.
But it just looks more powerful with Contras.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, that's the Contra discussion now. Contra wins.
Yes.
So, is there any other questions you want to discuss here, Mitchell, or you want to call it a day?
I mean, if you have anything, I'm open.
I don't really got anything right now.
Huh. I mean, I think this was a pretty successful one. I think I had a good time.
Well, obviously, this is our first run of this, so there's obviously some clip mess-ups, and there's just some...
oh, God.
We are rookie judges. This is our first time doing this. We've just been asked by the CEO to judge these two shows, and, we're not the best. We're not the best at all of this. We just judge it our own way. It's our opinion. We have different views, and what we do, and this is our rule, Mitchell and I discussed it, it's our rule. In this universe, Carmel and Tarpon don't exist.
Right.
They're not here. So these are just talking about these bands, how they perform, and how great they look, how great they sound, and anything they could have improved on that we noticed. because
Right.
we're not a professional judge. We don't notice everything, or we're just too picky. So
Yeah.
well, we're gonna call it. But before I call it, I'm gonna say something about next week's podcast for Marching Monday, because this is Marching Monday. So
Sir.
next week's podcast for Bands of America, it's gonna be a debate. We're going to be reviewing Tarpon Springs 2018 Ready Player One and Carmel High School 2018.
Voyage to Valhalla, let's go!
So what we're going to do is he's going to judge Ready Player One, both musically and visually, and I'm going to judge Carmel, both musically and visually. Then we're going to get together, we're going to have a friendly conversation. We're not going to talk about placements, we're just going to talk about
We're just going to talk about the show.
like how we liked it, if there's things that, if we were like the designer, what we would have changed. But
Right.
so that would be exciting. Well,
Yes.
I'm
excited.
It's gonna be fun. So this was
Yeah,
the
wow.
first installment of Musicians List Arts Marching Monday podcast,
There we go.
and let's hope we get many more.
Yes, sir.
So I'm Gavin, and I'm peacing out. And you want to say your goodbye, Mitchell?
I mean, I'm Mitchell. I'm just vibing, but we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Okay. Bye, everybody.